Drones can hold the key. You just
I turned it on.
A major innovation in the study of hurricanes.
We flew into the storm, and it was super bumpy ride.
As scientists fly drones into the heart of the storm, an energy drink backed by big influencers is falling out of its prime.
This is an eye-popping level of caffeine for a young kid's body.
As government and health officials start calling out its dangers, a Florida football legend,
we believe sports is a catalyst for so many things,
is expanding his sport horizons. These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello, South Florida. I'm Tanya Jimenez.
And I'm Kenneth Bueno. Today is Tuesday, July 11th, 2023.
Live from the Lee Caplin School of Journalism and Media in North Miami, this is Caplin News.
Scientists are embracing the future as using drones can hold the key to breakthroughs in the study of hurricanes. New uncrewed technology can get data from underwater, on the ocean surface, and in the air at the same time during a storm.
Caplin News reporter Kenya Cardone is live outside the National Hurricane Center in West Miami-Dade.
You may have heard of hurricane hunters. Those are the people that fly straight into the eye of the storm to record critical data. Now, there are limitations as to where they can fly due to safety, of course, so that is where unmanned aircraft comes in. We're talking about drones. Take a look. The Altius 600 drone was deployed for the first time as Hurricane Ian neared the Florida coast.
The Altius was able to fly at as low as 200 feet and was clocking winds over 200 miles an hour and reporting all of that in near real time to the National Hurricane Center.
Deployed from the parent P-3 aircraft while in the storm, the drone can be controlled from more than 160 miles away.
We flew into the storm, and it was super bumpy ride, super turbulent. And then we dropped the Altius, and the pilots were concerned whether we had reached the limits of the P3 when we went in.
If it's too intense for them to stay in the storm, that really tells you that, wow, this is a crazy storm.
The traditional instrument dropped from Hurricane Hunter aircraft is also getting a new companion.
And so they'll serve a different role and be able to collect data as they move around the storm.
There's also sail drones that are able to sail right into the storm and will provide a better understanding of the air and sea interaction. And below the surface, gliders will gather data of the ocean heat content ahead of the storm.
There are certain ocean features that lurk beneath the surface that sometimes can affect a hurricane's strength as it moves over those features.
So the goal this year is to get all of those uncrewed systems into a storm at the same time. Live in Miami, I'm Kenya Cardone, Caplin News.
The disgraced former U.S. women's national gymnastics team doctor Larry Nassar is back in the news this morning. As an inmate here in Florida, he was a stabbing victim over the weekend. As CNN's Deanna Giles reports, he was serving a 175-year sentence for sexual abuse.
I'm not happy that this happened. Because like I said, I don't think violence should be part of his sentence.
When news got out that former sports doctor Larry Nassar had been stabbed in the Florida federal prison, it sent waves of shock amongst the sister survivors and those who fought alongside them.
When we sent him to prison, my goal wasn't him to just get beat up and stabbed and go through such violence. I just wanted for him to pay for his time of all the stuff that he did to us.
Ashley Erickson is one of hundreds of sister survivors who spoke out against Larry Nassar. He was convicted with sexually abusing hundreds of young gymnasts and possession of child pornography. On Sunday, he was reported to have been stabbed in the back and chest multiple times.
I think if you spoke to most of the sister survivors, we're not wishing violence on him. And we just want him to serve his time.
Ingham County Judge Rosemary Aquilina says even though she stated during court that she signed Nassar's death warrant, she says this act is unacceptable.
But it wasn't that I wanted him dead. It was I wanted the girls to know that they were safe, because so many of them felt unsafe and worried that he wouldn't spend enough time in prison and that he would harm again.
As heinous as Larry Nassar's acts were, he was not sentenced to the death penalty, and every prisoner should at least have some level of protection.
Despite the news putting Nassar and the survivors back in the limelight, Erickson says there's one good thing that came out of a horrible situation.
I know that if I needed more sisters survivor support, I have it.
In June of last year, the Michigan Supreme Court rejected a final appeal from Nassar. His attorneys say he deserved a new hearing based on what they called vengeful remarks by the judge. The court ruled it had, quote, concerns over the judge's conduct, but said she did stick to the sentencing deal worked out by the lawyers in the case.
A call this morning for the CEO of Meta to come to Florida. Florida's Attorney General Ashley Moody has asked Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg to speak in Tallahassee in regard to human trafficking on its platforms. Moody requests Zuckerberg's presence in front of the statewide Council for Human Trafficking to testify about the predators' use of Meta apps to recruit victims. Since 2019, more than half of Florida's trafficking cases involved an app made by Meta. They're giving him until September 5th to respond.
President Biden joined NATO leaders in an official greeting this morning, marking the start of a high-stakes two-day summit. The alliance leaders gathered in Vilnius, Lithuania, with a renewed sense of unity after Turkey supported Sweden's bid to join NATO Monday evening. Coming off the heels of a failed mutiny in Russia and the country's ongoing war with Ukraine, the summit is shaping up to be a consequential one.
Lawmakers in D.C. are raising the alarm over a popular energy drink this morning. It's called Prime, and it has 6 times the caffeine of a can of Coke. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and others argue that it causes health risks to children and teens.
It is one of the hottest trends of the summer.
Shut up.
Now the influencer-created energy drink Prime is facing growing scrutiny.
This is an eye-popping level of caffeine for a young kid's body.
Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is calling on the U.S. Food and Drug Administration to investigate the product. Prime energy drinks contain more than double the caffeine of a can of Red Bull and 6 times more caffeine than a can of Coca-Cola.
The amount of caffeine in these drinks can give children and teens headaches. It can give them jitters, nervousness. It can interfere with the sleep cycle, which is so important to the developing brain.
According to its website, the company does not recommend the energy drinks for anyone under the age of 18. Still, Schumer claims the company is targeting children through social media.
Kids see it on their phones as they scroll, and then they actually have a need for it.
The company also sells a caffeine-free drink called Prime Hydration. But there are concerns the branding between the two products are too similar.
Because the product is billed as a hydration and sports drink in its other near identical form, kids are likely to ingest cans of this stuff with the parents being unaware.
Prime says it's following the FDA's rules and has a label warning anyone under 18. Prime also makes a hydration drink, which lawmakers say looks very similar on the shelf.
Florida's popularity is causing serious economic consequences.
That's still ahead, and so is this story.
We believe sports is a catalyst for so many things.
A big name is making big business moves in the sports industry. Newsbreak will be back in 2 minutes.
Radcliffe Art and Design Incubator is the velocity accompanying the fellow's rudder, as in a boat. Unless there is movement or action, the planned direction is of little consequence. We encourage the creative ideas into action, and from the experience of doing, we critically assess the feedback, adjust, and set out to rediscover the potentialities of an entrepreneurial mindset.
STEM is precise, no margin for error.
Dare to forget that. Dare to have fun with it. Get weird with it. Dare to send those old STEM theories flying past the neighbor's house into outer space. Dare to program something internet-breaking, record-breaking. Dare to blow their minds. Dare to learn the difference between sedimentary and metamorphic rock. Go find those rocks. Dare to keep daring. Dare to STEM. Check out She Can STEM to get started.
Tim Tebow is making it big as he sets to grow the sports industry. This morning, former University of Florida and NFL quarterback Tim Tebow is aiding the expansion of a minor league hockey across the nation.
The ECHL, which stands for East Coast Hockey League, is trying to move the love of the sport towards communities out west. Tebow, now the co-owner of an emerging team in South Lake Tahoe, expresses the need for local sports.
We believe sports is a catalyst for so many things. One, bringing people together. Two, creating amazing memories. But three, also making an impact.
The lake lies in between the border of Nevada and Northern California, an area where NHL teams played outdoors in frozen water in 2021. The team is currently slated to make its debut at the start of the 2024-2025 season.
Buildings aren't the only things that can be sky high, so can inflation. At 9%, the inflation rate is more than double the national average in Southeast Florida, according to the Consumer Price Index. Particularly through housing costs, Florida has been the hotspot for rising inflation in America due to growth in population during the pandemic. You're watching Newsbreak, and we're coming right back.
See us dream. See us remember. See us protest.
You matter. Your feelings matter. Your identity matters. Everything about who you are matters.
See us fight back. See us rebuild. See us shatter stereotypes. See us inspire. See us united. See us now.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
That's all the time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Kenneth Bueno.
I'm Tanya Jimenez. Get more news anytime at caplinnews.fiu.edu.